The NFL Combine returns to its more natural form this year after having to adjust due to the pandemic in 2021. Last year, NFL coaches, executive, and scouts did not arrive in Indianapolis to watch the hundreds of prospects provide their measurables and take part in the interview process. That was left for pro days. Combine is back in Indy. They've been the host of this annual event since 1987, although that could change in 2023. All right, I know it's Ryan Wilson's favorite time, or one of the favorite times of the year. A draft analyst joining us here on AMHQ. So give me a sense and give me the latest, Ryan, on what these combine changes for this year are and the potential impact it's had on draft prospects already.
Well, first thing, Tommy, there's going to be a bubble of sorts, and that means that these players will be in a bubble from their masseuses, their therapists, their trainers, and that's a point of contention, because here's what they're doing in the lead up to the draft. They're training at their facilities, which agents typically pay for. They have a routine. They have a nutrition plan. They have all these things. And in years past, pre-COVID, they would be able to meet with these therapists, these trainers, and get stretched out before they do the drills, get stretched out after they do the drills, meet with their agents. And all these things are currently off the table. The NFL, according to our Jonathan Jones, who wrote about this recently, is working on a sort of a way to meet halfway. But currently, agents are not happy about it, and you can understand on some level why. In fact, it's gotten to the point where there's some conversation that why are we doing the drills and the bench press on the same day? I was talking to an agent about this, and he said, hey, guess what? We do on pro days. The drills and the bench press on the same day. This is just a means for the agents to try to exert some power and make it clear that these players need certain things, and the NFL hopefully will comply on some level. That said, all the events are taking place. It's going to be a primetime affair, which the NFL has made everything into when it comes all things off-season NFL, and typically people watch. So I suspect that won't be much different. We might see players opt out of the bench press, which isn't necessarily something we haven't seen before. Players do that all the time, and they'll do it at their pro day, or they'll do it at another point. The NFL teams typically get the information they want to get, but this is a way for agents to make it clear to the league that they're not happy about all the changes that have been made, even though, as JJ wrote, this is something that the league talked to the players about in terms of what they want to see. So we'll see how it unfolds. I suspect it'll feel much more normal this year, Tommy, than it did last year in the COVID bubble, so to speak. So that's a good thing as we get back to football in the offseason and watching guys run around in their shorts and T-shirts.
Yeah, I know you were at the Super Bowl and the Senior Bowl. Do teams feel like they're going to maybe get enough with some of these changes? I know you talked about the agents and the players and what the league is doing, but what about teams quickly here?
Yeah, no, of course. They're fine. And the scouts have been able to go into the schools in the fall, so they've been able to gather the information they had trouble doing in 2020. They'll have the pro days. They'll have the personal workouts. I think teams feel pretty good about where they are in the process. This is more agent-based in terms of them wanting to have more power, the power they're accustomed to having in typical years as we try to navigate this COVID world we are still in.
All right, so as we are going to do every single year till the end of time, Ryan Wilson, finding the next Tom Brady, give me the late-round quarterback at the Combine could be the next chosen one.
Yeah, this is going to be look at Tully busting out this picture of poor old Tom Brady 20-something years ago. Joke's on us, I guess. Look at this guy. How is this guy a Hall of Famer, first ballot? It's crazy. Who do I think could be this guy? And this is sort of a slap in the face. Bailey Zappi out of Western Kentucky. Come on down. You could be that dude. I can't believe Tully found this footage. Bailey Zappi out of Western Kentucky. I mean, look, this guy looks like an athlete. He can run in the straight line. He's not tripping over himself. Transferred from FCS program to Western Kentucky to follow his OC, and all he did was light the world on fire. Over 50 touchdowns, threw for 5,000 yards, completed 70% of his passes, got a Senior Bowl invite out of it, and more than held his own against the Sam Howells, the Malik Willises, the Carson Strongs, the Kenny Pickett's of the world. He did a pretty good job that week in some tough conditions. He ain't going to be a day one pick. He's not going to be a day two pick. He'll probably be a sixth-round pick. He reminds me a little bit of Taylor Heineke and Duck Hodges, and that's no disrespect to Heineke, Hodges, or Bailey Zappi. That's just the type of player he is. He gets the most out of his ability. He doesn't have an extremely strong arm, but he's incredibly smart and can come in and start some football games for you. Is he going to be Tom Brady? Well, we'll have to wait and see. He'll run a better 40 than Tom Brady for sure, but I don't know if he'll play 20-plus years and win 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah, our producer, Brian Tully, pulling out the stops to cite a potential cease and desist order from TB12 and Alex Guerrero coming out there. All right, so Tom Brady, not going to get classified as a workout warrior, but we know some are going to be there at Indy. You've given us your list. Tell me about a few players that you think are going to be monsters in Indy.
Yeah, Marcus Jones is my guy out of Houston. When I see M. Jones, all I hear is Mike McDonald saying, Mike Jones! But Marcus Jones, he balled out at Houston. He's listed as a defensive back. He returns kicks, Tommy. He had 9 touchdown returns in his career. He can also play wide receiver, so the versatility there reminds you a little bit of Devin Hester. Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy who played at Kentucky. He's a do-it-all gadget guy, sort of one of these undersized wide receivers that you get the ball in their hands and small near the line of scrimmage, and they do the rest. Channing Tindall and Quay Walker, they're both linebackers out of Georgia. They're both going to test extremely well. They both could end up being day 2 guys. Quay Walker might even get into round 1. But again, the athleticism is off the charts with these off-ball linebackers. Finally, I'll mention Dax Hill out of Michigan, the defensive back, plays safety. He can play in the slot as well. I was talking to this guy at the Senior Bowl. I said, he's going to run the 4-3s. He goes, yeah, he'll run the 4-3s. And then I heard he might run the 4-2. So keep an eye out for Dax Hill setting the track on fire when he gets out there to run next week.
I'm glad you threw in some 40 times because we're out of time. We'll be talking about that, of course, leading up to the Combine. Ryan Wilson joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, part of the Pick 6 podcast. RW super friend, John Breach is super friend, the host, Will Brinson. Pick 6 podcast. Will's joined by our guy Pete Prisco. Go over his end-of-season power rankings with an eye towards 2023 and those Super Bowl odds.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.